All right, so I am taking a little bit of streak of blue and then applying some damp strokes of water to my surface. This is specifically because I'm looking to try to dilute the wet paint that I have. Now, if you don't have wet paint, you're going to want to add a streak of water to the surface of your tank, and then you're going to want to pick up some blue and kind of run a blue streak on top of the water streak that you have placed down on your paper. With that being said, I am taking care to work around and chisel my way around the cacti. If I have to, I'll switch to a smaller brush, and I'm putting all of my strokes in one diagonal line, moving within the same movement of all the other lines. I'm doing this so I can create kind of the glass structure that is behind the cacti, and I want to mimic the strokes so they look like little reflections of light kind of bouncing off of the glass. I'm also doing this to create a sense of unity to kind of help separate the cacti from the background. You can do this using paint strokes. When your paint dries, it will leave strokes or directional strokes in which your brush was moving, and we call this directional line. You can also use it as a shading technique to help differentiate one object from another. Totally up to you though. But this is exactly how I'm doing the terranium, or, well, the tank background. I'm going to go this way. You know why I'm going this way? Going the opposite direction. So I can stress there's two panels coming together at one point. Think of it as one point perspective, okay? Kind of like doing a bedroom. Why do I keep dipping my finger in that yellow paint? It's driving me nuts. If you think it's too dark, pick up some of that color and spread it to another area. I got some stronger colors here, so I'm adding some strokes of darkness in here to kind of, you know how the glass kind of reflects certain areas and catches the light? That's kind of what I'm aiming for. So you kind of can see two planes coming in, right? That's why I did that. Alright, let's bebop back to that really soft. There I go again. Sticking my finger in the paint. Just want to finger paint, Mom. Anyway, my pots are dry, so I'm going to add an additional layer of brown where I want my shadow to be. Probably should have chose the other side, but oh well. I want the inside of my pot, see? I want it to be, there I go again. I want the inside of my pot to be darker, so the lip kind of pops. I'm going to use that directional line to kind of emphasize the curvature of my pot. Yes, I know. I should have put my shadow on this side. It's too late. I don't think I can fix it now. So what I'm talking about is you can see that my shadow is being cast this way. So my shadow should be on this side of the pot. But, oh well, I'm human. Yeah, why not? Let's just make our pots darker. Gonna have to, and we'll add the darkness on this side. There we go. See what I mean? Shadows should go in line. In the direction of which the light is being cast. So if you ever need to, you might just have to darken your pot. we're going to wait for that to dry. And while we wait for that to dry, we will start with our oil pastel and work on our plants. Alright, so let's add some color to these cacti using oil pastel. Oil pastel is a really nice thing to add to a watercolor piece, especially if you're layering colors on top of each other. Oil pastel will not increase the risk of your colors mixing when you use a wet paintbrush. So that's why I like to add oil pastel as something that is on top of other paints, because I don't have to worry about the blue of my tank or the yellow of my sand competing with the green of my cacti. So the first step in order to do this is to make sure that your oil pastel is nice and clean, and to take your time outlining said figure before coloring it in. It will kind of give you a border to look at. These oil pastel nubs are really thick, so it's kind of easy to make too thick of a line than necessary. So just take your time, and then I will show you how to add other details using oil pastel. Clean off your fingers. Think about where you want the shadow before placing it, because it's not going to be as an easy fix as I did with the pots, right? Just be very careful. If your shadow's going this side, then shadow's going to be on this side of your cactus. Switch over to a darker green. Make sure that it's clean. Put that shadow in there. Feel free to add texture. There's a reason I didn't put as much detail here in the middle of my cacti. That's because I want to add a face using black oil pastel, because that's so darn cute. If you're interested in doing this as well, you need to also make space for your face. Now, you can also use oil pastel for other parts of your painting. For example, you could do it for the stripes of your bearded lizard. You could do it for the shadowy underbelly of your lizard. Maybe even add some faces to your pot, and use some brown oil pastel to add shadow to the sand area wherever you want your areas to pop, if that makes sense. And that, my friend, is how you can create a bearded dragon composition using watercolor paint and oil pastel.